Welcome to the channel and hope everyone's having a great day. And today we will be revisiting Halloween Resurrection. Now, I just actually finished watching this and no, let me say before I start the video, this is my opinion. As well, this is a fun fact. Off topic, but before I get into the video, when I got this box set, if you thinking about getting a Blu-ray player, getting into Blu-rays, you need to pick this up. But when I got this box set, right? So when I got this box set and I watched all the Halloweens, I had me a little marathon that night, right? Guess which Halloween film I skipped over? Resurrection. So this was my first time seeing it on Blu-ray. Now, like I said, I got this Blu-ray set back in 2015, 2016. So this was probably my first time watching Halloween Resurrection on Blu-ray, is when I first got this pack back in 2015, 2014, 2017. I just skipped right over Resurrection. So Halloween Resurrection is a film that I've not seen since 2012. No joke. It's a film that I've not seen in years. And with some rewatches, there's no new positives. There's more negatives that I've found. As well, this is off topic again. You got to get this box set. If you can't afford the other one that they got, you need to get this one. I mean, the artwork on these discs are just amazing to me, you know. But yeah, Halloween Resurrection. Starting off with the positives, yes, there's some positives. The way it's shot, watching Halloween Resurrection again and kind of like studying it a little bit, the way it's shot is not bad. There are some good cinematography shots. I think it's shot very well. The guy who plays Michael, Brad, I think he did a pretty good job as Michael. I think, Brad did a pretty good job. With what he had, he did a good job as Michael. He did a good job as Michael. All I can say about that. The mask. Upon a rewatch, the mask, it's one of the worst masks, but the mask isn't that bad. Especially like if you watch Halloween Resurrection, you will see a lot of the mask is capped in shadow. And when it's capped in shadow, it kind of looks good. I do think the Halloween Resurrection mask would have looked better if they would have changed the eyebrows, changed the eye holes, and changed the hair. It probably would have been a better looking mask. But that's really only that. Them are the only positives. I did like the opening where Michael's going down that tunnel and you're into a shot of the Laurie's hospital room, and you have like a shot of that. So them really only positives is Brad's performance as Michael, the ending, not the ending, the opening. Besides Laurie getting killed, it is a good opening, I think. But yeah, just slivers of positives. Now, more negatives with this film. To me, the way they open this film explaining how Michael essentially escaped, I did think it was cool that Michael tore out the man's jugulars or something to not make the paramedic talk. Okay, that's cool, but I always find it so stupid. And I'm the only one who finds it stupid that they said that the guy who got his head chopped off wasn't Michael. It was a father of 2 or 3 children. Okay, but that makes no sense, because when that copycat Michael at the it makes no sense. So in the scene in H2O where Laurie gets the van, Michael comes out of the body bag, who we think is Michael, he comes out the body bag. If that was a copycat, number one, why wouldn't this person take off the mask and scream, "Laurie, it's not me," and explain himself? Secondly, why? It just makes no sense to me. Like, how that is possible. Makes no sense. Makes no sense how I'm explaining it, but you know what I mean. I don't like how they killed Laurie off. I just don't like how they killed Laurie off. As soon as the movie starts, she gets killed off. That's stupid. I feel like that is really stupid. To me, the opening felt like the ending. Am I the only one who felt like that? That the opening felt like the ending? I'm probably the only person that felt like that. But Halloween Resurrection, it baffles me that Rick, the guy who directed the classic Halloween 2, came back for Halloween Resurrection. I'm not being mean to Rick. I'm not saying he's a bad director or a bad person. But he did Halloween Resurrection for the paycheck. That's the only reason he did Halloween Resurrection. It must have been. Because how could Rick direct the scene where Michael's getting kung fu kick? How could he do that? How could he kill a rushed scene where Laurie's getting killed off? It makes no sense. How Rick, and why would Rick want to direct Halloween Resurrection? You know, it's not a good film. I always find it stupid. Like, there's some, like, chase scenes. None of the Halloween score is used when there's a chase scene. Why? I don't know. Other things I find is stupid. Why is there a rattlesnake sound? Every time you see Michael or, like, a glimpse of him, there's a rattlesnake sound. That made no logical sense to me. It just takes you away from the movie a little bit to me. I just find it kind of takes away from the movie. Halloween Resurrection, I feel like the problems with this film, after I watched it, I felt very unsatisfied. It doesn't feel like a finished film. You know, it just doesn't feel like a finished film. It feels very incomplete. It feels very unfinished, incomplete, not a full film. It doesn't feel like, and I don't mean this in a bad way, it doesn't feel like it should have been in theaters and promoted heavily. It just doesn't feel like that. Halloween Resurrection, I do prefer it over Halloween 5 any day of the week. Halloween Resurrection, I may start watching it more. Yes, it is a horrible horror sequel, it's a horrible slasher film, a horrible Halloween film. But I feel like the problems with this film are just the story. I think that's the only really problems with this film is the way it was written. And I'm actually going to be doing a video on how I would did Halloween Resurrection, rewrite Resurrection. It just baffles me how Rick, the director of Halloween Resurrection, directed it like that. Like, letting get Michael kung fu and all that. It just baffles me so much. I couldn't go on ranting about Halloween Resurrection. I did a rant to Halloween Resurrection. I made that video November, December, March. I made a rant to Halloween Resurrection. And I bashed the film so much, and I still do. But upon rewatch, yes, it is more enjoyable than Halloween 5. But Halloween Resurrection, I just can't help to kind of like the concept. The whole Dangertainment thing, I would have took that out of the script automatically. Stupid. It doesn't move the plot along at all. It's just there. I do think it's cool, though, that these people are in the house with Michael. I think that's a pretty cool concept. I do like how there was tunnels under the house. And I just like that. I kind of like that premise. These people are in the house with Michael. They could have did away with the whole Dangertainment thing and Michael getting kung fu kicked. They could have did away with all of that and just had these group of kids in the Myers house. Maybe they just stump. Who knows? Maybe they just want to camp out at the Myers house. Who knows? But I feel like Halloween Resurrection, it is a bad Halloween film. But somewhere under all of that garbage, there can be a good film. And I've always liked that one scene in Halloween Resurrection, and I forgot about it, and then I remembered it upon rewatch. When Michael, after he kills Laurie, he hands this guy this knife, and this guy is wearing a clown mask, and he's obsessed with killers, and he's really obsessed with Michael, and he's really obsessed with John Wayne Gacy and Michael. He's just obsessed, okay? And I always find it unique that Michael gave that dude his knife. You know, I always felt like that wasn't humanizing Michael, but it was saying Michael saw him in that guy. That's how I always took that scene, was Michael saw himself in that guy. Maybe because he was wearing a clown mask, who knows? That's the mysteriousness of Michael. But like I said, really, you know, I give this film a 7. I do. I think I gave this film a 6 before, but I gave it a 7. You know, I just like it's something fun to watch. You can't really go in and taking it seriously. You just can't, because it's not the greatest horror film. It's not the greatest, you know, Halloween film. But upon rewatch, my ranking's gonna change on something, and you know, because like I just said, I think Halloween Resurrection, and this is a bold statement, and I'm gonna be actually doing a video where I discuss horror franchises and stuff, but this is a bold statement. You know, I prefer Halloween Resurrection over Halloween 5. Because Halloween Resurrection is it's just fun. It's just there. It may be horrible, but it's just a good horrible. You know, you can just pop it in, especially if you haven't watched it like in a year or two. You can just invest your time and watch it. You know, Halloween Resurrection has its flaws, but like I said, somewhere under all that rough exterior, there lies a good film. I don't know where, but there lies a good film. And man, you know, I just see Halloween, like I said, Halloween Resurrection, it is a bad film, but at the same time, like I said, there's something there, because I think the opening is really good. Besides Laurie getting killed, I think the mask is decent. People say the mask is bad. Upon a rewatch, the mask is decent, especially in shadows. The kills are bland. That's a negative. Really, like, the negatives and positives, I wouldn't say they're equal, but, you know, but, yeah, I just don't know. I just don't know, man. I just don't know how I feel about Halloween Resurrection. You know, upon rewatch, I don't know how I feel about Halloween Resurrection. I just don't really know how I feel about it. Like, upon rewatch, I don't know how I feel about it. I still do think it's what killed the franchise. I still do think it's what killed the franchise. I still do think it's what tanked the franchise. I do think it's what... And I do think it's one of the worst Halloween films. But again, still don't know how... I mean, I give it a 7. I do think it's a bad Halloween film, but... Is it that bad? Think about it. Like, is it that bad? I'm not defending this film. I'm just saying I'm not defending it. But I'm also as well saying... I just don't know. Like this film really gets you thinking, you know? Like, yes, it's a bad horror film, but as I said, there's some sliver of positives in there. Some type of film that is way better than the Halloween 5. And maybe it is even better than Halloween H2O. Who knows? But that's just my opinion. But if you did enjoy my revisiting of Halloween Resurrection, let me know in the comments below. Let me know in the comments. So, do you agree with me? And I'll catch you everyone in the next video.